Why, good morning, people. Welcome to day 6 of reading Luke every day until Christmas Eve. Yesterday, we read about the disciples getting called by Jesus. Today, we're going to be reading a lot of Jesus' teachings. Go ahead and grab yourself a cozy drink and your Bible, and let's get started. Luke 6. One Sabbath day, as Jesus was walking through some grain fields, his disciples broke off heads of grain, rubbed off the husks in their hands, and ate the grain. But some Pharisees said, "Why are you breaking the law by harvesting grain on the Sabbath?" Jesus replied, "Haven't you read in the scriptures what David did when he and his companions were hungry? He went into the house of God and broke the law by eating the sacred loaves of bread that only the priests can eat. He also gave some to his companions." And Jesus added, "The Son of Man is Lord, even over the Sabbath." So the disciples, according to the Pharisees, they were harvesting the grain. And on the Sabbath, you're not allowed to do any work. It's a day of rest. So they're like, you can't do that. Hey Jesus, your people here, they're breaking the Sabbath. And Jesus gives this example of when David did a very similar thing. It's like, no, they're not. The Son of Man is Lord, even over the Sabbath. The Pharisees kind of lost that one. On another Sabbath day, a man with a deformed right hand was in the synagogue while Jesus was teaching. The teachers of religious law and the Pharisees watched Jesus closely. If he healed the man's hand, they planned to accuse him of working on the Sabbath. But Jesus knew their thoughts. He said to the man with the deformed hand, "Come and stand in front of everyone." So the man came forward. Then Jesus said to his critics, "I have a question for you. Does the law permit good deeds on the Sabbath, or is it a day for doing evil? Is this a day to save life or to destroy it?" He looked around at them one by one and then said to the man, "Hold out your hand." So the man held out his hand, and it was restored. At this, the enemies of Jesus were wild with rage and began to discuss what to do with him. So Jesus just did a miracle on the Sabbath, and I don't know if it's mentioned in Luke, but in one of the Gospels, he gives the example of taking care of your animals on the Sabbath. He says, "Don't you go and get your livestock water even on the Sabbath. You must take care of your livestock even on the Sabbath." And he's saying, "I'm taking care of my children even on the Sabbath." So that's what he's doing. And the Pharisees, yet again, are very mad at Jesus. But Jesus doesn't seem to be too bothered. One day, soon afterward, Jesus went up on a mountain to pray, and he prayed to God all night. At daybreak, he called together all of his disciples and chose 12 of them to be apostles. Here are their names: Simon, whom he named Peter; Andrew, Peter's brother; James; John; Philip; Bartholomew; Matthew; Thomas; James, son of Alphaeus; Simon, who was called the Zealot; Judas, son of James; and Judas Iscariot, who later betrayed Jesus. There's 2 Judases, and 2 James, and 2 Simons. Yeah, there's a lot of copying of names. That is Jesus's 12 apostles. He had many disciples, but these were like the main group. These were the 12 disciples, as they're called. When they came down from the mountain, the disciples stood with Jesus on a large, level area, surrounded by many of his followers and by the crowds. There were people from all over Judea and from Jerusalem, and from as far north as the seacoasts of Tyre and Sidon. They had come to hear him and be healed of their diseases, and those troubled by evil spirits were healed. Everyone tried to touch him, because healing power went out from him, and he healed everyone. This is explaining that lots of people were coming to Jesus, and they're coming to him to be healed of many diseases and have spirits rebuked and for healing. Then Jesus turned to his disciples and said, "God blesses you who are poor, for the kingdom of God is yours. God blesses you who are hungry, for you will be satisfied. God blesses you who weep now, for in due time you will laugh." I love that part. If you're going through a rough patch right now or a hard season, just know that in due time you will laugh. It says God blesses those who weep now. God is with you. It's okay. What blessings await you when people hate you and exclude you and mock you and curse you as evil because you follow the Son of Man. When that happens, be happy. Yes, leap for joy, for a great reward awaits you in heaven. And remember, their ancestors treated the ancient prophets the same way. This part is saying, if you are treated differently because you follow Jesus, jump for joy. It says leap for joy. People have done it in the past. Their ancestors treated the ancient prophets that same way. It shows that you're willing to be different for Jesus. It's not a bad thing. You can feel really excluded from things when you don't want to do something because of the life you have with Jesus, but it's so worth it. And it says to leap for joy when this happens because you follow Jesus. Consider it a win if you are so different because of Jesus that people don't treat you the same. I hope that made sense. What sorrow awaits you who are rich? For you have your only happiness now. What sorrow awaits you who are fat and prosperous now? For a time for awful hunger awaits you. What sorrow awaits you who laugh now? For your laughing will turn to mourning and sorrows. What sorrow awaits you who are praised by the crowds? For their ancestors also praised false prophets. He's saying this to people who, for example, the first part, put their happiness in being rich. Their joy comes from money. He's not saying that if you're rich right now, really soon you're going to be miserable and poor. He's saying this to the people who put everything into being rich. Their whole identity is around having money. The money isn't going to last. He's not just saying, if you're happy right now, you're going to be miserable really soon. He's saying it to a specific group. So don't be freaked out by this. But to you who are willing to listen, I say, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who hurt you. If someone slaps you on one cheek, offer the other cheek also. If someone demands your coat, offer your shirt also. Give to anyone who asks, and when things are taken away from you, don't try to get them back. Do to others as you would like them to do to you. This section is saying, love your enemies, and it's the classic term of turn the other cheek. And the golden rule, treat others as you would like to be treated. Don't be greedy. If someone asks for your coat, offer your shirt also. Treat others as you would like to be treated. If you love only those who love you, why should you get credit for that? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good only to those who do good to you, why should you get credit? Even sinners do that much. And if you lend money only to those who can repay you, why should you get credit? Even sinners will lend to other sinners for a full return. I love the way it says, why should you get credit for that? We're expected, as people who follow Jesus, to go above and beyond and treat people well. And treat people that don't treat us well, treat them well. Show the love of Jesus even to those who hate you. Even sinners will be kind to those who are kind to them. So we're expected to go above and beyond. So be kind to those who aren't kind to you. Show the love of Jesus to everyone. And it can be hard, but it's so worth it. And you could end up saving that person because they see your kindness. Love your enemies, do good to them, lend to them without expecting to be repaid. Then your reward from heaven will be very great, and you will truly be acting as children of the Most High, for He is kind to those who are unthankful and wicked. You must be compassionate, just as your Father is compassionate. So, be compassionate. And when you give something, like giving a gift, don't expect something back. Give it freely, and then you will truly be acting as children of the Most High. Do not judge others, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn others, or it will all come back against you. Forgive others, and you will be forgiven. Give, and you will receive. Your gift will return to you in full, pressed down, shaken together to make room for more, running over, and poured into your lap. The amount you give will determine the amount you get back. The amount you give will determine the amount you get back. Editing me here, just wanted to point out, I didn't realize this as I was reading it, But now watching it back, it's not saying if you judge others, others are going to judge you. It's saying if you judge others, God is going to judge you. The amount of judgment you give is the amount of judgment God is going to give to you. It's not about people here. Not really. Back to the video. Then Jesus gave the following illustration. Can one blind person lead another? Won't they both fall into a ditch? Students are not greater than their teacher, but the student who is fully trained will become like the teacher. And why worry about a speck in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own? How can you think of saying, "Friend, let me help you get rid of that speck in your eye," when you can't see past the log in your own eye? Hypocrite. First, get rid of the log in your own eye. Then you will see well enough to deal with the speck in your friend's eye. So that part is saying, it's saying don't be a hypocrite. Let's say someone isn't sharing, and that's the speck in their eye. And you're looking at the speck in their eye, and you're like, I need to get that out. Let me get that out of you. Share with others. But then you don't share. You have a log in your eye. Okay? Don't go telling someone to be compassionate if you're not compassionate yourself. First, work on your own compassion, then you can teach others about it. But you got to work on yourself first. Worry about your own log. A good tree can't produce bad fruit, and a bad tree can't produce good fruit. A tree is identified by its fruit. Figs are never gathered from thorn bushes, and grapes are not picked from bramble bushes. A good person produces good things for the treasury of a good heart, and an evil person produces evil things from the treasury of an evil heart. What you say flows from what is in your heart. If you have evil in your heart, you're going to act that way. And you have to make sure that what's in your heart is for the glory of God and following God's plan for you and not your own intentions. And it also shows us a way to identify false prophets and just to know whether you should be hanging out with someone or not. How do they act? Because a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. Like if one of your friends is being really mean to someone, oh, but they're really nice to me. It doesn't sound like good fruit. Be aware of people's actions, because that is a direct representation of what's in their heart. So why do you keep calling me Lord when you don't do what I say? I will show you what it's like when someone comes to me, listens to my teaching, and then follows it. It is like a person building a house who digs deep and lays the foundation on solid rock. When the floodwaters rise and break against that house, it stands firm because it is well built. But anyone who hears and doesn't obey is like a person who builds a house right on the ground without a foundation. When the flood sweeps down against that house, it will collapse into a heap of ruins. If you don't have your foundation on Christ, then when hard times come, you're just going to float away. Other translations say, anyone who doesn't obey me is like a person who builds their house on sand. With sand, if you've ever been to the beach and you stand in the same spot, when the water comes, it pushes the sand in and it goes right out to sea. It's because you don't have a firm foundation. You need to have a foundation on Christ and then build your life from there. You can't have your foundation on random things of the world and expect things to go well. So that is chapter 6. We read about the Pharisees getting mad at Jesus on the Sabbath, and then the 12 disciples loving your enemies, not judging others, the log in your own eye. Take care of that first. A bad tree cannot produce good fruit, and building a solid foundation on Christ, building your life on Christ. And tomorrow, we're going to read about the faith of a Roman officer. And I love this one. It's a good one. So, thank you for following along. If you didn't have a cozy drink while watching this, go ahead and get yourself a cozy drink, because everyone needs a cozy drink in their life. Hope to see you tomorrow for day 7. Bye.